All right, today we are talking about My New Obsession, which is an album by I Voted for Kodos. It contains 11 songs. Uh, they're all very kind of tightly, I guess, grouped. It's a very unique album in the way that there's certain third wave ska like sounds, and then there's like this, and this is more of a Uh, I'm sorry. This is more of an interesting album because it was like a vocoder or something that like added effects and it added this certain tone to the entirety of the album, and every song kind of like feels like it needs to be in this album. There's no one song that feels very out of place, and that's something that I kind of like value in this. As like there's that one like American Dad line that says that he was like talking to someone, and he goes, "Yeah, I view R&B, the entirety of the genre R&B, as just like one long song." And that's kind of how I view this album. Is everything like meshes together super well, and like one of the good examples is "Please Die in a Fire" and "You're My Favorite." Those two mesh together really well. 3 Days Till Rome and "Perfecting the Art of Persuasion" mesh really well. It's this entirety of the idea of just like, let's make something that sounds like it needs to be together. And I've listened to this album like countless times. It's 34 minutes long. Like I said, like 11 songs, and it's just, there are a few songs on here that just rock. They are awesome. I love them to death. The ones I'm talking about are "You're My Favorite," "Perfecting the Art of Persuasion," and what else? Um, "Please Die in a Fire" is one. And I have my reasonings for all three of those. "Please Die in a Fire" was like the song that like I immediately took note of because it has such like a noticeable title, and that's such like a noticeable like idea behind it. "Please Die in a Fire" is about like someone who's just been sucking the life out of someone else, and that is like, I'm sure anyone can like have the idea of someone in their head, of someone who's kind of like, who's a succubus. They just like take and take and take and take. And "Please Die in a Fire" is about like wishing this person would die in a fire because they're so they're a fucking prick. "Perfecting the Art of Persuasion" is that the song, at least on this album, that I will actively search out, as like I'll be listening to something, and I'll go, "Oh, I really want to listen to "Perfecting the Art of Persuasion." Just like how if I hear like a Skrillex esque song, I'll immediately go search up "Bangarang," because obviously "Bangarang" is the best Skrillex song. You cannot fight me on that. And then "You're My Favorite" is the pinnacle of what this album should be. Every album has that one song that I believe is like the hard hitter. It's the one that just drives everything. And for this album, and for me, that song is "You're My Favorite," because it just kicks in, and it has the certain quality of, you know, every album has their song, and this is this album's song. It's so upbeat. It's what I want more of from some of the more timid songs, because every album has those kind of like timid songs where it's like, you know, I guess it's like a lower energy. And this one has very high energy. "You're My Favorite" is just, what I wanted to see more of. And don't get me wrong, I'm not disappointed through this album, but if a but if there was like a couple other tracks that matched You're My Favorite in energy and like catchiness, this would be awesome. I love this album to death. I just do. It matches that kind of quality of the like the start of the internet type of thing, because it grew up very much in the time. I believe MySpace was still around. I'm not quite sure. I was 3 when this came out, and it feels the same as kind of like the American Pie movies, because those had the same, like, you know, people are still listening to the radio type of thing. It's, like, there are multiple songs with turn the radio on, um radio love song, that kind of stuff. And it kind of like feels more akin to those kind of like high school movies because of songs like Wishful Thinking in Fourth Period, Friday Night Lights Out, that kind of stuff. Radio Love Song is all about calling into a radio station, hoping the girl that you like listens to that station, and then requesting a song to ask her out. And if that isn't like, like a show of like what kind of time period this is from, then I don't know. The entirety of like this energy of kind of like, the early, like, it's not really the early 2000s, it's 2008, but it has the same energy as like early 2000s kind of media. And that energy is something that I keep wishing there was more of and more of today, like, coming out, because everything is so centric around technology. We had a ginormous boom of just innovation through the past years. And it's kind of interesting to like look at like all the computers and stuff, because everything's like refined, very refined. But back then it was very kind of still not very fleshed out. And that was one of the big things that I really liked about the American Pie movies, was everyone had a flip phone. One of the phones gets trashed in the Naked Mile. Like, someone just throws someone else's phone out of the window and they lost it, and it wasn't a big deal, that kind of thing. And they had like payphones and stuff. The first one, I believe they broadcasted something to a bunch of people with like an email link or something. That kind of stuff was extraordinarily interesting to me when I was really getting into this kind of stuff. And that same kind of early 2000s like teen movie, but like more of an adult teen movie like American Pie, not like 16 Candles or something, like not the cheesy movies, the ones that actually like kind of, I guess, feel like actual, like they're actual like comedies, like I can't think of them, but like it's like like call all those like college movies and stuff, like, like from the early 90s. It has that same kind of feeling, except different. And looking back at those, they have the same kind of feeling as this album. I i went onto Spotify today and was like, yeah, what should I listen to? And I found this and I immediately clicked on it, and it was so wonderful to hear these songs again, because so much of what I listen to now is a lot like 100 Gags. It's very like, I'm not gonna say PC music, because it's not PC music. It's more of a very like internet centric thing where everything's being done on the computer now. That, like, one of the ska tunes that I listen to the most is Stupid Horse by 100 Gags, because it's so different. And hearing, those same kind of qualities that make Stupid Horse a ska song within this album is so kind of cool to me, that like it's one of those things where like I was here, I was listening to this stuff before this really popular thing came, and I got into said popular thing and then got into it. It was vice versa, and I just love that so much. Um I love the horns and stuff. That's the one thing that like I really like miss about a lot of third wave ska kind of stuff is, that like the horns combined with like more of like, because it was like Americanized. Third wave ska is like very Americanized type of, I guess, ska music. It blends in with some pop punk and some like mid 2000s emo, like that kind of stuff. Or like it'll even blend in a bit with the 2016 like emo revival stuff, where it was like really like a, I'm gonna use, I use pop punk as like a blanket term so much because I don't really know how to like classify stuff, but I know that like this fit under like the umbrella with Blink 182. This like fits within the same like poncho as modern baseball and like them, and like all this stuff is so like, it feels like a large family because these were the albums that I can really like pick out, and like they're tangible to me. I've never like really owned a physical like thing, but like, they're tangible. They're something that like I can point to and say I loved that as a kid. Which is weird to say because like a couple years ago I was a kid. I still am a kid, and being able to like point at this and say I loved that when I was 12. I was listening to this when I was 12. It was so great. I loved it so much. And I still love it now. That that's really cool to me. And I don't know. I just wanted to share this album with you, with all of you, or all of you. There's like 4 views on the last video. uh, anyway, yeah, I just wanted to kind of share that. I didn't have like a real kind of like thing for today. I kind of just pulled this out of my ass. But regardless, I hope all of you have a good day. I'll get to editing this right now. It should be up hopefully around 5. It's 3:33 right now. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching.